A teacher sent the following note home with a 6-year-old boy. He is too stupid to learn. That boy was Thomas A. Edison.
It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. Albert Einstein.
I felt like an alien. I always felt like I never belonged to any group that I wanted to belong to. Steven Spielberg.
I always felt a bit alone and isolated from other people. I did a lot of pretending as a child. It was my way of coping with the fact that I didn't feel like I fit in. Keanu Reeves.
I thought I wasn't smart. I just couldn't retain anything. Jennifer Aniston.
I was labeled the dumb kid that couldn't read or write, coming all through to when I was graduating in high school. Barbara Corcoran.
Dyslexia is the affliction of a frozen genius. Stephen Richards.
How you learn has nothing to do with how brilliant you are. Henry Winkler.
I'm dyslexic too, and look at where we're at. You can do it too. Damon John.
I am the girl who everyone said was never going anywhere. I guess I shocked a few people. Share.
I failed in some subjects in exam, but my friend passed in all. Now he is an engineer in Microsoft and I am the owner of Microsoft. Bill Gates. I didn't really have a disability. I had a superpower. Kevin O'Leary.
Life is full of challenges. How you handle these challenges is what builds character. Never be afraid to be who you are. Aaron Brockovich.
When you have to cope with a lot of problems, you're either going to sink or you're going to swim. Tom Cruise.
You don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn by doing, and by falling over. Sir Richard Branson.
Success is how high you bounce when you hit bottom. General George Patton.
It's kind of fun to do the impossible. Walt Disney.
My interest in life comes from setting myself huge, apparently unachievable challenges and trying to rise above them. Sir Richard Branson.
Difficulties mastered or opportunities won. Winston Churchill.
You can't build a reputation on what you are going to do. Henry Ford.
Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Thomas Edison.
You don't have any idea how powerful you are and what you can achieve. You literally cannot give in to your fear. You literally have got to walk over it, step on its face and keep moving toward where you want to go. And eventually, if I can get there, there's no reason you can't get there. Henry Winkler.
Your brain is much better than you think, just use it. Leonardo da Vinci.
Do not be embarrassed by your failures, learn from them and start again. Sir Richard Branson.
When I was growing up in New York City, no one knew what dyslexia was. I was called stupid and lazy, and I was told that I was not living up to my potential. It was, without a doubt, painful. Henry Winkler. Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. Winston Churchill.
Failure in school does not mean failure in life. Stephen J. Cannell, TV producer.
As a child, I was called stupid and lazy. On the SAT I got 159 out of 800 in math. My parents had no idea that I had a learning disability. Henry Winkler.
I am not discouraged, because every wrong attempt discarded is another step forward. Thomas Edison.
My attitude has always been, if you fall flat on your face, at least you're moving forward. All you have to do is get back up and try again. Sir Richard Branson.
I pay no attention whatever to anybody's praise or blame. I simply follow my own feelings. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Intellectuals solve problems, geniuses prevent them. Albert Einstein.
History is written by the victors. Winston Churchill.
Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. Albert Einstein.
On one of my last days at school, the headmaster said I would either end up in prison or become a millionaire. That was quite a startling prediction, but in some respects, he was right on both counts. Sir Richard Branson.
A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Albert Einstein.
Creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. Scott Adams, cartoonist.
Many of life's failures are men who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thomas Edison.
The noblest pleasure is the joy of understanding. Leonardo da Vinci.
What you are will show in what you do. Thomas A. Edison.
Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. Albert Einstein.
If we all did the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. Thomas Edison.
Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. Albert Einstein.
Back when I was in school, few people understood dyslexia and what to do for it. My teachers thought I was lazy and not very clever, and I got bored easily, thinking of all the things I could do once I left school. I couldn't always follow what was going on. Sir Richard Branson.
It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer.
Albert Einstein.
You should prefer a good scientist without literary abilities than a literate one without scientific skills. Leonardo da Vinci.
Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Albert Einstein.
Treat failure as a lesson on how not to approach achieving a goal, and then use that learning to improve your chances of success when you try again. Failure is only the end if you decide to stop. Sir Richard Branson.
I don't care who you are, life has challenges. Tom Cruise.
Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Thomas A. Edison.
Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Albert Einstein.
Before you can do something that you've never done, you have to be able to imagine it is possible. Jean Shinoda Bolen.
A lot of it is down to perseverance and, hopefully, you will have parents who will work hard with you, because that's what mine did. I still have days when reading just won't work, but most days it will. Keira Knightley.
Overcoming fear is the first step to success for entrepreneurs. The winners all exemplify that, and the hard work and commitment they have shown underlines what is needed to set up a business. Sir Richard Branson.
Every book I read I have to read in hardcover, and it has to be on my shelf so I can see it because every one of them is a triumph. Henry Winkler.
A slender acquaintance with the world must convince every man that actions, not words, are the true criterion of the attachment of friends. George Washington.
I was dyslexic, so math and formulas were not necessarily my strong suit. James Van Der Beek.
My diary is a disaster. I can't spell at all. I'll spell the same word completely differently in the same sentence. Liv Tyler.
I start where the last man left off. Thomas Edison.
This is what I know. A learning challenge doesn't have to stop you. Your learning challenge will not stop you from meeting your dream. Only you will stop yourself from meeting your dream. Henry Winkler.
If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? Albert Einstein.
I have an accent, am dyslexic, short and chubby, you name it, I have it, but I'm here. I must be the luckiest girl in the world to be working. Salma Hayek.
Stay hungry, stay foolish. Steve Jobs.
Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. Henry Ford.
I am not discouraged, because every wrong attempt discarded is another step forward. Thomas Edison.
Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Winston Churchill.
I was dyslexic. I had no understanding of schoolwork whatsoever. I certainly would have failed IQ tests, and it was one of the reasons I left school when I was 15 years old. And if I'm not interested in something, I don't grasp it. Sir Richard Branson.
A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. Winston Churchill.
Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask. Act. Action will delineate and define you. Thomas Jefferson.
Still, one of the few good things about being dyslexic is that when I say I don't read reviews, I mean I don't read reviews. Ozzy Osbourne.
If you can dream it, you can do it. Walt Disney.
If you were to ask me for two defining words, for life and fishing, I'd say tenacity and gratitude. Tenacity lets you get where you want to go, and gratitude doesn't allow you to be angry along the way. Henry Winkler.
Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong. It is character. Albert Einstein.
Passion is the great slayer of adversity. Focus on strengths and what you enjoy. Charles Schwab.
Knowledge of what is does not open the door directly to what should be. Albert Einstein.
Great ideas originate in the muscles. Thomas Edison.
Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Albert Einstein.
I suffer from severe dyslexia. I was the only child on my block on Halloween to go trick or treat. Here comes that young Williams boy. Better get some fish. Robin Williams.
Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Martin Luther King Jr.
Nobody's good in everything. Advantages and disadvantages come in many forms. Charles Schwab.
When I was a child, my mother said to me, if you become a soldier, you'll be a general. If you become a monk, you'll be the Pope. Instead, I became a painter and wound up as Picasso. Pablo Picasso.
The difference between those who fail and those who succeed is largely perseverance. Never quit. Charles Schwab.
Tell me and I forget, teach me and I learn, involve me and I remember. Benjamin Franklin.
I still have trouble reading. I have to concentrate very hard at going left to right, otherwise my eye just wanders to the bottom of the page. Tommy Hilfiger.
Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. Albert Einstein.
I'm passionate about learning. I'm passionate about life. Tom Cruise.
Most dyslexic people face challenges that may go unnoticed by others. but they usually find creative ways to overcome them. Rebecca Kamen.
I don't want anyone to feel they can't achieve their ambitions if they are dyslexic. Molly King. When someone helping you gets frustrated, don't let them. Take a step back, because you can't learn anything under pressure. And don't worry about the label. Aaron Brockovich.
I didn't succeed despite but because of it. It wasn't my deficit, but my advantage. Although there are neurological trade-offs that require that I work creatively and smarter in reading, writing and speaking, I would never wish to be any other way than my awesome self. I love being me, regardless of the early challenges I had faced. Scott Sonnen, martial arts world champion and author.
Dyslexia is not a pigeonhole to say you can't do anything. It is an opportunity and a possibility to learn differently. You have magical brains, they just process differently. Don't feel like you should be held back by it. Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice Elizabeth Mary of York.
It is more common than you can imagine. You are not alone. And while you will have this the rest of your life, you can dart between the raindrops to get where you want to go, and it will not hold you back. Steven Spielberg.
I have learned to live with it and make the best of it. I read all the time. When I was diagnosed with dyslexia, I was told to read everything from street signs to cereal boxes, and that my mom shouldn't read the menu for me. I should read it to her. It has helped a great deal. I am reading well, but it is something I work on every day. Bella Thorne.
Dyslexic kids are creative, outside-the-box thinkers. They have to be, because they don't see or solve problems the same way other kids do. In school, unfortunately, they are sometimes written off as lazy, unmotivated, rude, or even stupid. They aren't. Making Percy dyslexic was my way of honoring the potential of all the kids I've known who have those conditions. It's not a bad thing to be different. Sometimes, it's the mark of being very, very talented. Rick Riordan, author of the Percy Jackson series.
I guess the key is, no matter how many times you fall over, you dust yourself off and you keep moving. Henry Winkler.
The real fear that I have for dyslexic people is not that they have to struggle with jumbled input or that they can't spell, but that they will quit on themselves before they get out of school. Parents have to create victories whenever they can, whether it's music, sports, or art. You want your dyslexic child to be able to say, yeah, reading's hard, but I have these other things that I can do. Stephen J. Kennel, Emmy-winning TV producer.
I try to get the point across that not everybody thinks the same way. There are obvious benefits to being book smart, but I think common sense and creativity is just as good, maybe even better. D.A.V. Pilkey, author of the Captain Underpants series.
I was paralyzed with fear because I kept inverting words and dropping words. I didn't want to be made to feel that I was not as smart as the other kids, because I know that I am a smart person. Octavia Spencer.
It is the parent's job to see how their child learns and to make sure that the children's self-confidence is buoyed at all times, or they will plummet like a stone. Henry Winkler.
Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Steve Jobs. Learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like an artist. Pablo Picasso.